Good morning. It is 7 July 2022. That is an awesome clip. Thanks, Squatch. All right. Ozzy, not sure what you're referring to when you said it took me long enough. And Swiss Miss, hi. Everybody, Swiss Miss is kind of lucky to be here at all right now. So happy thoughts for her. And that's all I really know. That's it. Joe, I see you out there. Drink one for me. Bernie, morning. And let's see if I can deal with the. Somebody give me a sound check. Tell me if I'm all right now. The video, the sound is down because we had to do that because we love you, Susan. Okay, moving right along. I'm going to share a different screen because that's how we roll around here. Ow, bloody hell. I just love this part. All right. Oh, but that's perfect. That is what I was aiming for. Let me get a quick scroll over it so that we can see anything from the past. Boa switched over. That's okay. And now here we are. We are up to speed, I hope. All right. So I promised that today I was going to talk about 9017, and I keep my promises. But before I get into that too deeply, I was actually on a live stream last night. I think Boa was probably there too. Viva Free was live streaming like he does, and somebody said something to the effect of, why do only super chats get shown? I can't remember her exact words, and I don't care because it doesn't matter that much. First of all, Viva does show any chat comment that catches his attention sufficiently to make it worth putting up. All right, lady, no, that's not how David works. Second of all, and I'm going to say this the way it really is, especially when you get really big, you have those chat flying so fast that God cannot read it. People like PewDiePie, he's got super chats flying so fast, God cannot read them. He's got like 1 million viewers every live stream. Most people don't realize this. He could be getting 50 cents per live stream and still walk away with $250,000. Okay. Now do I have your attention? If I ever get that big, I need to hand the keys to mandatory carry over to somebody who can professionally handle this. Not GOA, not FPF, really not NRA, because they'll just fuck everything up. There's 1 million others I could. Hell, there's like 2 people in the chat right now I can hand it over to. Joe and Bernie. Although Bernie doesn't go on camera, but that's okay. Joe has been on camera. I can hand it over to him. He do it good enough, if I'm sitting there in the background. Joe, you don't fully understand mandatory carry, and that's okay. Okay, I'll come back to that. Also, Boa and Joe and Bernie all know, or are all moderators on channels that could handle this better when I get to the point where I'm getting super chats in general. That's the truth. So if you're going to about super chatters getting extra attention, well, you're pretty ridiculous. And it's as simple as that. Okay. I got to go over the chat real quick for my own sake because I clearly missed something. Open. Okay. Boa had to switch. Joe says, my sound is fine. That's great. Sounds like me. A bit low. Okay. I've been having some connectivity issues of late, people. So if I cut out, it's actually not Susan this time. It might be me. It's probably me. I think it's my computer. I've been using a 3-banger like an 18-wheeler, and it's just not keeping up. I might be from the future. I don't know. Because I wouldn't know if I went back from the future, my memories would be scrambled so that I wouldn't know the future. It's complicated. Joe is apparently the #1 mod on YouTube. Joe, you're going to have to send me an email. I want to hear more about that story. And Boa, I've heard it pronounced both ways. So, yeah. I don't recall him pronouncing it Fry, but I don't recall him not. And I do know Freiheit. His real name. It's. I'm not doxing him. He did it himself. David Freiheit. Okay. Since Boa is here and David brought the subject up yesterday, Boa sent me a link of Paul Joseph Watson. Damn it. I can never get his name. Paul Joseph Watson has a blog post out with a clip of Justin Trudeau actually saying we're going to ban all the handguns. I believe he only said handguns at this point. And I actually didn't go over it, Boa, because Viva covered it yesterday as well before I had a chance to follow up on that link you sent me. You think this is just a slip of the tongue? No. What he's really doing is testing the waters. He wants to see if the reeing will be worth the trouble. And it doesn't really matter. He's going to do it anyway. So what difference does it make? I'm just saying. He's going to do it. And I guess I will have to get my Canadian passport, dig it out of the box. Remember, folks, I hold dual citizenship, U.S. and Canada. I didn't even know that until my grandmother passed away, but okay. Yeah. That's going to have to be a thing again. Hold on to that thought, Bernie. I'm going to maybe touch on that. Moving around along. All right. 9017 is my theory that there will be another major terror attack that will make 9/11 look like a practical joke by comparison. Love you, Susan. Okay. It works like this. 2-man teams with at least one car. One is a shooter, the other is a driver. The driver stays behind the wheel to the greatest extent possible. The driver will stay behind the wheel. They will roll up to various locations, empty a clip or two. The shooter will get back in the vehicle if he actually did exit at all. They'll drive off to the next location and repeat this process until either A, they're out of bullets, or B, some cop has just happened to get in their way. The idea that somebody in the crowd might just shoot back is an issue, but they're not going to do anything else. They're just going to get back in the car and take out, okay, this target is a little too hardened for us. My belief is still that these will be ISIS fighters. ISIS fighters, do know combat. They do know battle. The rando in the crowd shooting back is not going to intimidate them like it would literally anybody else as a major category. July 4th, we had a mini 9017. The Indianapolis shooter opened fire on a bounce house. All right. That is just pure terrorism. There is no reason for an adult to be in a bounce house. He opened fire on the bounce house. Why? Because there were kids in there. That's why. He, to the best of my knowledge, still has not been identified, let alone caught. The first one I heard about. God damn it! Why can't I remember? I'm not going to say his name. I can see his name in my head too. The Highland Park shooter was caught, and for reasons that we don't entirely know yet, although apparently Chicago police think they know, he stopped his campaign and had crossed state lines and said something to the effect of he had a second target in mind and then didn't go there. Hi, Squatch. Sorry, Squatch. I'm not mad. I'm just a little upset right now. I'm upset because I've been reading about this terror attack since 2014 when I sent the first emails to tips@fbi.gov, and it's going on anyway. And nobody believes me. Okay. Apparently, I have fallen a little behind. Boa said RCMP has already gone home to confiscate firearms after evacuations due to forest fires a couple of years back. That happened in New Orleans as well. I don't know about RCMP one way or the other. I do know that New Orleans destroyed the guns within a week. Boa says, do you think having round heels Harris an improvement? No. As bad as Joe is, having an actual slave trader in the White House would be a complete disaster for everyone. There, I said it out loud. Fuck you. Bernie says major power outages are in our future. Are you prepared to deal with the fallout? I am. Others may or may not be. I do not know what their status is. Bernie says the strings are being pulled by the same entity. Yeah, Iran. One way or another, they're the one pulling the strings. Pulling the strings on the people pulling the strings or pulling the strings. But, it's like a marionette with a marionette with a marionette. Okay. Squatch, I'm having some connectivity issues, so if I go away, it wasn't Susan this time. All right. It happened. The mini 9017 that I didn't expect happened. Okay. There is no way that there were at least five mass shootings on the same day, the same ideological background, unless there was a purpose. One of my fears as of 2019, was it 2019 or 2018 that I came out with this one? I can't remember now. Either way, was that the various ISIS in the United States would try to recruit Antifa. I got some really far out there notions related to that. I don't want to write ISIS's playbook for them, obviously, or I don't want to tell them that I wrote their playbook. So I sure as hell don't want to give them any, pro tips. But amongst other things, recruiting Antifa as drivers, plain Jane cars, that sort of thing. Hey, Squatch's avatar is showing up now. Guys, Squatch and Swiss Miss's avatars are not showing up for me, and I don't know why. Well, Squatch is now. All right, let's get to the basics here. What can you do about this? First and foremost, a major target would be bars, nightclubs, places like that where people are very densely packed, very limited escape routes, and just a fucking slaughterhouse. All right, nothing more. Everyday carry. I always talk about get home bags in a stream, but today, back to basics, your everyday carry. I'm going to switch the screen settings just a little bit. It should be good. My first and foremost everyday carry is this. Actually, not this. I carry a much better quality. A basic multi-tool. I used to get on planes with these damn things. I remember pre 9/11. I would get on a plane, I would show these to security, and they'd just shrug it off. Yeah, whatever. After 9/11, the rules changed. The only time you'll see me without one of these somewhere on my body is when I'm at home, and usually because I'm in the shower. Matter of fact, this is the backup one I use around the house. I'll talk about that in a private discussion. 2, basic pocket knife. These two, there we go. These two actually came out of the same kit. It was about $20 at a truck stop. Came with a headlamp. The headlamp is crap. Throw it away. If you can't do anything else, get these 2 items. And a basic self-defense tool. Neither one of these are adequate for self-defense. All right. The knife isn't even really adequate for use as a weapon if you're not defending yourself. Although there's always some jackass who's going to try. And the third item is a self-defense item. I carry a gun. Maybe for reasons that I can't divine from here, you cannot carry a gun. All right? You have a legal objection and you're a convicted felon. Or a million other things. That's fine. Pepper spray. I don't know of a state in the union that does not allow you to carry pepper spray. I know Canada does not allow pepper spray. Don't start me up on that subject. I'm going to rant for an hour. All right. And as I want to actually back this up just to be sure. Okay. Squatch said it first. Justin Trudeau has basically banned self-defense. And you know what? Yeah, actually, that's exactly what he did. There's no basically about this. No, but I'm not mad. I swear I'm not mad. How many of you believe me? Oh. I'm going to show this because it's true. And then I'm going to... it is... oh. Sorry. Bernie says the Zetas in Mexico were trained by the CIA to disrupt the cartels, and now they run the cartels. That's... I mean, I don't have anything to suborn that statement. But seeing as how that's exactly how the Yakuza in Japan started, I believe it. The Yakuza started out as Japanese intelligence. The war ended, and they became the criminal empire. All right. Boa says anything you use for self-defense will get you facing charges. I got to throw a caution flag on that. Even in the United States, no matter how justified your self-defense actually is, you can be charged. You will be arrested. That's going to happen. Get used to the idea of having handcuffs on you if you ever have to defend yourself. Get used to the idea that you may have to go into a courtroom and tell the judge what happened. Also, get used to the idea that you probably want an attorney on retainer. If you're in New York State area, I recommend Eric Prince. He may not appear in your actual hearings, but I just made an endorsement. Okay, well, you know what? Fuck you. I did it. He may not actually appear in your hearings, but as your attorney of record, somebody's there just to be his speaker and maybe to answer a few questions. Oh, Crypto Pirate. Hi. Crypto Pirate is new to the channel. Actually, he made a comment on that upload, that premiere from the other day. That's how he came to my attention. All right. Get used to the idea that if you have to defend your own life, you're going to have some problems. All right. Get a good attorney, not a public defender like I made the mistake of doing. My public defender, he was basically a deputy DA. All right. A huge mistake to believe anything he was going to do, that he was going to do anything right, rather. Okay. Squatch, I'm going to pretend I didn't see that. Moving right along. And then just stick to the truth. All right. You might actually still be in trouble. I cannot tell you how many people I know who've done time because they were acting in what started out as self-defense and went beyond that. And one of them is an old family friend. He passed away several years ago, so I'm going to touch on it a little bit. Some guy came up to him and his wife when their their two older kids were like itty bitties. I think the younger one was still in arms, babe in arms, and started harassing them. And boy's name that starts with B, because that's the, Bernie, I'm just going to pick on you a little bit here for a moment. Bernie, it started to get between this guy and his wife, and his two kids. Things escalated. He beat the man to death. He just beat the man to death. The courts said that was excessive, and he went to prison for several years. All right. I can see why he was in trouble. Once you're down, you're down. You're supposed to, or once they're down, you're supposed to stop. This thing he did, he went a little far. This guy was also harassing his wife and children. It's as simple as that. There is a very, very real reason why the day he walked out of prison, his wife and their two, at this point, children were sitting right there at the gate waiting for him. And 9.5-ish months later, they had their third child. She understood. All right. Crypto Pirate has an excellent point. I purchased USCCA insurance for me and my family. I hope I never use it, but it seems legit. I'm not going to say whether I'm specifically endorsing USCCA or not. But Papa Carey bought a policy for me and my two brothers. We canceled the policy on my older brother when he passed away. Me and my younger brother still have good policies. My two sisters do not, because they cannot bear arms by law. Okay. I'm going to leave that alone. Yeah, I'm going to touch on it a little bit. Squatch, I am subscribed to Callum's channel, even though he has literally zero content because of who his wife is. Things happen sometimes. All right. You can't wear body armor around, and you can't just hide in your house, right? Maybe you decide, I'm never going to a bar or dance club again. That's fine. You don't even tell me you're not going to go to a Walmart or a Safeway or a grocery store ever again. And as Buffalo shows us, yeah, they'll target those places too, because that's where the points are. My theory about this week's mass shootings is they were ideologically driven, right? 4th of July. What the fuck did you think they were? Why the fuck did you think they went? Because it was funny? No. It's because it was 4th of July. By God, that's one way of saying fuck you. Excuse me. Oh, damn. Sorry. But they were also aiming for that high score. They wanted to be the name at the top of the page, as Disturbed put it. And you know what? That's the reason I don't name them. I don't repeat the names. I do everything I can to forget those names because they deserve to be forgotten. They're not even humans. All right? Fuck. Give me a second. Jack off joke with a old motorcycle that he thinks he's going to rebuild. No, he's a meth head with an old motorcycle, and he says he's going to rebuild it. Moving right along. Okay, I can hold off on that for a moment. 9017 actually came. We got a taste of what it's going to look like. The Indianapolis shooter, as far as I know, is still on the run. That was the one that shot up the bounce house. All right. The Chicago shooter has finally been caught. He was caught sometime, I guess, around midnight-ish, the day of the shooting, and or the day after the shooting, maybe. But he had already crossed state lines with the intention of attacking a second target. The local cops are saying that he didn't do enough research on his target. I'm not sure I'm totally buying that, but I'll go with it for now because it's not relevant. He literally crossed state lines. That even exceeds 9017 because it had always been in my mind they were going to stay in a local area. My guess is that he heard about this idea from people with contacts to ISIS in some way, shape, or form. And, he hears his buddies talking about their ISIS buddies who are planning this attack. It says, hey, I can do the same thing. And he went from there. Okay. Let me make sure that's everything. Oh my God, it's only been a half an hour. All right. Assuming you find yourself in this situation anyway, you're at Walmart or you're at O'Malley's or you are wherever you are. The first thing you need to do is get to cover as best as you can. If you have to flip a table over, flip a fucking table over. If you have to flip a fucking pool table over, flip a fucking pool table over. But in an interesting variation on a theme, first of all, let me make sure that it's going to come up. Oops. Let me get to the right tab. Remove that one. And share a different... stop screen. Share a screen. Let me make sure it's loaded up correctly. Excellent. Oh, shit. Victim confronts carjacker in downtown San Diego. Beat him until police arrive. That's how you do. I know what I said earlier about friend and family. That's how you do. No injuries were reported. Okay. After witnesses and victims helped stop a carjacking early Wednesday in downtown San Diego. Police with handcuffed suspect. To be perfectly blunt, I don't know if this is the carjacking suspect or the carjacking victim. They have a individual who appears to be handcuffed, get used to the idea that no matter how justified your actions are, you're going to end up in cuffs. That's the way it is. All right. And this isn't because the police are being awful and evil and taking away your rights. It's because they got to get control of the situation until they can figure out who's the victim, who's the suspect, why did somebody call me? They have to do that. It's for their safety, which means they don't have to shoot everybody. San Diego officers found a man hiding behind a parked car after reports of an attempted car theft in the 800 block of 10th Avenue near E Street. That's a separate issue. When officers approached the suspect, he ran into the driver's seat of another vehicle. The owner of that vehicle and another man rushed the car and began striking the subject. Police removed the suspect from the vehicle and detained him. So it didn't last as long as I thought. Another man told ABC 10 the suspect attempted to take his vehicle moments before the confrontation. So this was a multiple attempted carjacking. Police arrested the suspect and seized drugs and paraphernalia to a hospital to be assessed. No injuries, huh, guys? Come on. At the end of the day, push comes to shove. That's how you do. Share screen. That one. Make sure everything's lined up correctly. And now I get back to work. All right. If you find yourself in the situation where you can't get to cover, rush him. All right. I have this from somebody I consider an absolute authority, short only of literally God stepping down from heaven and telling me otherwise. That authority is Papa Carey. So be very careful if you want to fight me here. When he was in Vietnam, each and every single one of his Marines who was killed in a single shot was a headshot. All of them. When it came to bullets only, each and every one of them was a headshot. And it wasn't every one of his Marines who took a headshot that died. There were some that survived. All right. And not all of them were snipers. A couple of the Marines who were killed with a single shot to the head were just goddamned unlucky. Shit happens. Okay, fine. Your chances of surviving getting shot once are about 99%. One of the few gun control supporter advocates that I actually do respect, or did respect, he's passed away now, was James Brady. He took a shot to the head with 22 caliber. Okay, that's a small bullet, but it was also an explosive bullet that, for reasons that have never been determined, never detonated. Okay, that part happened. He was crippled for life. That's true. But he died of old age complicated by his injuries. Your chances of surviving a single shot are 99%. Push comes to shove and you have no other choice. Rush him and beat him down until the cops arrive, and take his gun from him if you can. Even if all you can do is get it out of his hands or pin his hand to the ground behind the gun or something. Get it so that he can't shoot you anymore. Throw it away or start beating him with it, to be perfectly blunt. At least then when the cops do roll up, About 15 minutes later, 10 to 15 minutes later, what they're going to find is one psycho beating another psycho, a psycho beating some poor guy to the ground with a gun after a report of a shooting at Wally World. They're going to roll up, guns are going to be drawn. That's it. That's the truth. Get used to that idea. Don't make it worse. Let them put you into cuffs. Keep your mouth shut and say nothing other than your name, your home address. Tell them where your wallet is. Let them take the gun. And then tell the cops that guy is under arrest for attempted murder. Don't say literally anything else until you've spoken to an attorney. That was one of my mistakes. I told the cop the truth. Yeah, we were having sex. And if I kept my mouth shut and said, we don't know why you're here, probably would have been nothing. Well, I don't have any proof that sexual activity happened, so, and she's not complaining, so what? Squatch is trolling me. Mama Cat and Mini Me doing Parker on my other chair. Okay. Carjacker does. Boa says carjacker does 6 months suspended sentence. Owner does 15 years. You know what? That is a real possibility, ladies and gentlemen. That is how ridiculous California has become. Squatch says, I went to school with a girl who kept a red brick in her pocketbook. Okay. I think your definition of the word pocketbook and mine might be a little bit different, but okay. And your friend from school would absolutely love Samuel the Infamous because he keeps a brick in the trunk of his car. I don't think he's joking. I think he's dead fucking serious. On the other hand, your friend from school doesn't sleep with brass knuckles on, like a certain asshole you know. Okay. Right, that's it. Carry something. If you live in a state where felons are allowed to carry pepper spray and you're a convicted felon, carry the fucking pepper spray. All right. And to be perfectly blunt, at the end of the day, it's better to be judged by 12 than to be carried by 6, because you can't be judged by 12 if you're being carried by 6. Yeah. And that wasn't me speaking. That was that former police sergeant, you know, the one that said to me, if it were up to me, everybody would be required to carry a gun. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense. But then everybody would be carrying a gun. You'd have to treat them like that. Yeah, and I do anyways. What about it? Okay, my impression of Dave is not great. Then it's not that bad. My impression of myself, though, was dead spot on. Okay, Boa. I get the joke. I assume that this relates to Boa and Squatch and Bernie and a few others, all saying that Canada has essentially banned self-defense. It is why they banned jury trials for non-federal crimes. Okay, Carrie, calm down. Calm down, Carrie. No, fuck this. Justina needs to go back wherever she came from. I don't care if it's Cuba. I don't care if it's a backwoods of Saskatchewan. I don't care where it is, because it's all a very, very warm place compared to this. Okay. Calm down, Carrie. That is a malicious and deliberate attempt to rig the system by literally rigging the system. There's a reason why juries are so important. There's a reason why a judge is also important, and they're not always related. But at the end of the day, a judge can set aside a jury verdict if they believe that a miscarriage of justice has occurred. For those of you that were Law and Order fans, there's actually an episode. They talk about it starts with a mass shooting in Central Park. A guy goes through and starts shooting women. So some sort of misogynistic thing. Okay, that part happened. Jack decides he's going to put the gun maker on trial. The jury finds the gun maker guilty. The judge set aside the jury verdict because it was as disgusting a miscarriage of justice as what the gun maker did. Something to that effect. And if probably Boa would be in the best position. If you can find that episode, please drop it in the chat. Either way, that's one of the importances of a judge. But the first defense is always the jury, because that's 12 people who should at least understand your world, right? They live in it too. That judge has a literal police department, bare minimum, to protect him. And it's not that they're actually standing around his house. It's that everybody out there who's thinking about going after that judge knows if that judge so much as gets a suspicious cold or a suspicious scratch, the entire police department's going to come hunting. And they're not playing games. They're going to come hunting for somebody. He's okay. Bo apparently knows the episode I'm talking about, because he says Jack dumped an ice cream pail of bullets all over the desk. That sounds like the dramaticus that Jack would be known for. And Boa, I don't think you need that wall. I think you need to find out how he was elected. All right. Look very carefully at those numbers. But moving right along. I mean, we have the most popular president of all time in office right now, right? We love you, Susan. Yes, Boa clearly knows the episode I'm talking about. Okay. 917 Mini, 917 has come. And it wasn't just one like all the ones in the past have been. This was multiple shootings. One that crossed state lines, I didn't see that one coming. The what was it? Sutherland, I think, shooting the one with the this D-Day Air Force at the chapel was going that route. Apparently, he was going to go shoot up another chapel, and then somebody got in his way. Something that he was not anticipating. Flag on the play. An ISIS member is used to battle. He's used to being shot at. It's not going to intimidate him like it would the Sutherland shooter. All right. He's going to be able to either stand and fight, which is very, very likely, or at least to withdraw in good order. The Sutherland shooter, the moment he got shot, bad guy, he burned rubber out of there as hard as he could. He's not used to getting shot at. This isn't something that he was mentally prepared for. If you think for a second that gun control is going to do anything about that, I invite you to go check out Gun Control Has Failed. The piece de resistance of that video is literally Alan Hart showing off the gun he made from, quote, total trash. I'm kind of confused. How is the Hilti total trash, but maybe it was just worn out. I don't know. There's a lot of things I don't know about that. Jesus, Boa, you're getting a lot of airtime today. Okay, he's talking about that episode of Law and Order. Yes, profits kept them from modifying guns to prevent easy tampering with tank sales. Scummy, but not illegal. No basis to hold them responsible. No basis to hold them responsible to begin with. All right. There is no gun that I am aware of that cannot be modified as long as it is as long as it has a magazine. That cannot be modified to one degree or another to be tampered with. The hard ones are lever action because they tend to be too mag fed. That creates a difficulty. That's it. If you follow Forgotten Weapons at all, you will find over a dozen videos of various attempts to convert bolt action rifles to self-loaders. And most of them were crap. Okay, that's the truth. There was one, curiously, out of New Zealand, I believe it was, that actually did work out pretty good. If New Zealand had had the industrial capacity to do it, they probably would have converted all of their SMLEs to this, not Simple gun. Simple made that, I guess you could call it tank. I forgot the name of the gun. And that's okay. I can live with that. But yeah, it's a relatively simple conversion, but they didn't have the industrial capacity to convert something like 500,000 rifles. And by the time they would have been able to do it, the need had long since passed. Oh, okay. There was still no basis for holding the gun maker responsible. It doesn't exist. that is also something I addressed in mandatory in Daetslov. I believe I covered that not last week, but the week before about interfering with business. As long as the business is lawful, you interfere and you're the one in trouble. And you're in actually deep shit. For those of you who keep saying that's a typo, $10 million plus per transactional violation, 20 years plus 6 months per transaction. No, that's not a typo. I meant to do that. I very much intended for you to be scared shitless. You would rather let an illegal transaction go through than stop a legal one because, well, what was I supposed to do? I'll go to prison for 20 years if I say no, and I didn't know it was illegal. Or I couldn't prove it, or whatever. Hey, you know what? Mandatory Carry wrote this. We're going to go talk to him. Hey, stupid, what were you thinking? I was thinking that I did not want to give Chase Manhattan a way out. Okay, we're at the halfway-ish mark, although I think I got through most of that pretty quickly. All right. I'm not going to screen share this one because it's not really exciting information. USA Today had a article, Why Are Mass Shooters Getting Younger? USA Today, I hate to tell you this, but the 1980s called. They want their shooting news back. It's not news. It's been going that route since at least 1999. All right. What is interesting is the increase in the number of female mass shooters. And even that is questionably true. We've had more female mass shooters than we've had historically, but that much more, it basically a 300% increase. Well, yeah, because it's 3 mass shooters in the last 10 years. 3 female mass shooters in the last 10 years. Doesn't really strike me as that much of a change that it deserves attention. Even if I thought Jack had a point, what else does the government get to control? Because private business not proactive enough in preventing the misuse of a product. There's a certain gentleman, Al Husseini. I can't remember his first name. He rode around behind the German army through the Middle East with a van that had a hose connected to the tailpipe and into the sealed rear compartment. I'd like us to hold that car company accountable. It was, actually, apparently it was just like a couple miles away from here. Oh, I'm sorry, a couple miles away from here, that way. That a woman drove through a crowd in an SUV, killed a couple of people. I would love to see the car company held responsible. I'm just saying. Crypto, I see that. I don't want to touch that subject just yet until I know that I know what I know. And I don't know enough to actually know what I don't know yet. But I do know there's something to it. And Boa is concurring. Not agreeing, but concurring. Excuse me. I got tired of running out of coffee, and I can't stand tea right now. Okay, Bernie. All right. So we're coming up. We're at the halfway mark. Well, actually, we're closer to the 3/4 mark now. I am going to make a selfish request to the community. Papa Kerry got COVID. I'd like everybody to say a prayer for him. Or good feelings for Boa. I think he's okay. I think he's going to be fine. But his age and health is not the best combination. I think he'll be fine. I also know that he's very, very worried. So, prayers or good thoughts for his recovery and to relieve his anxiety. Yeah, let's just put it the way it really is. He's very, very upset. Bear in mind that his younger brother passed away from COVID. It was January? I think it was January or February. So he's a little upset. He's a little concerned. Well, and okay, so Bernie said, let's hold Big Pharma accountable. I'm not exactly on board, but I will listen to the argument and make my own decision. You know, he's not necessarily wrong. And I'm going to speak from my personal experience here. When I tried to quit smoking in 2010, I think it was, I took Chantix. Didn't do anything to slow my smoking down at all, but it did turn me into a raging asshole. I remember my wife, I was still married at the time, asked me something. She just asked a question and I snapped. And I caught it myself. I heard it in my voice, nothing more than that. I realized what had just happened. I turned and looked at her and said, I'm stopping the Chantix. And she said, okay. So, draw your own conclusions. By the way, Chantix is a low-dose version of an antipsychotic. I'm just saying. Right. Get home bag. Back to basics. Everyday carry. Multi-tool. Pocket knife. Assisted opener pocket knife. That way you don't have to use both hands to open it. Gun, pepper spray, something. Next up, and gonna get a little bit shitposty-ish. Go to Walmart, go to Ace, go to some sort of store where they sell those red backpacks. All right. Usually in the hardware section or in the safety for hardware stores, in the safety personal protective equipment, gloves, masks, that sort of thing. Grab a one-day kit, strip everything out of there that you are actually going to use for a single day of getting home. All right, keep the food pack, keep the water packs, maybe not. If there's rubber gloves, keep those. Ditch any goggles, because that company has a bad habit of putting the cheapest, most commonly available goggles into their bags, and it just don't waste your time with those goggles. Of course, they're not in the one-man pack. But anyway, keep the food packets, the whistle, that sort of thing. Get a water bottle and rebuild that bag however you need to. And then if you can, get a smaller bag when you have time. So you want to sell your jobs, we need first on the product they pulled their entire attempt to sell it there. Okay. All right. It's new rule 6 months over. Yeah. And Boa is talking about the reason why nobody believes anything the government is saying related to certain subjects. I don't. Ladies and gentlemen, I am a historian. All right. I know about Spanish flu. I know about bubonic plague. I know about all of these historic precedents. So please, by all means, try and lie to me, try and bullshit me, try and confuse me. Well, I summed it up with try and lie to me. I will absolutely drop those F-bombs on you. And not even, screw you, Apple. We love you, Susan. Coronavirus had the potential to kill half of humanity. That's the truth. The truth is also that it doesn't have that potential anymore. It is now going to become a recurring annoyance to humanity, little more dangerous than the common cold. There. I literally lost all respect for Corona at all. Somewhere around December 2020, January 2021, somewhere in that range, I lost all respect. All right. I still respect HIV. Right. Okay. HIV is real. All right. Don't fuck with that shit. Corona, whatever. Fuck you. Yeah, Crypto's new to the channel, guys, so he's not aware that I talk about get home bags literally every week. They're all tired of hearing me talk about it, and I don't blame them. Oh yeah, Crypto. Okay. Yeah. After that, a simple stop the bleed kit would be a good addition to the kit to add to it. That would be, but it adds weight to a kit that is already starting to get kind of heavy when you should only be moving for maybe 4 hours. If you live more than 4 hours walking distance from home, you need to think about your life and make some decisions. The Squatch is trolling me. Trapezoid. No, that's not how it works, Squatch. That's not how any of this works. It's always a bag. It is always a bag, guys. And it will always be a bag. And generally speaking, ladies, if it won't fit into a mid-sized purse, it's probably a little heavier than you need. There, I said it. That's why those red bags are so great. You can get them everywhere and just figure out what you don't really need. That's what I started with. Oh, it's in my car. That one's actually out in my car. The little one-man bag. I just started stripping shit out of that and figuring that out. To the point where this one over here, it's got a couple of shoulder pouches on it. This isn't even a get home bag, right? This is actually a bug out bag. This is if I have to leave Reno and march for the lake house or Papa Carey's place. That's what this one's for, because it is literally that heavy. I'm not on Odyssey. I got too many social media accounts already. Okay, wait, whoa. I'm just saying. Or actually, Boa's just saying, would a lunchbox suit you better? Okay, just saying, guys. Especially one of those 1970 ones, because they're made out of metal and they tend to have sharper points and you can hit people with them. Hey! Danger Mouse is here. Squatch rocks the MERS? I think he spelled MERS wrong, but I'm not sure. Okay. All right, I am going to not update the description and get into Daetslov sections 8 and 9, which means I have to stop the screen, share a different screen, a window in this case, make sure it's coming through clearly. Clearly means you guys can read it. All right, it looks good. I hope you guys can read that. All right, section 8, warning shots. Warning shots are hereby prohibited except as provided by maritime law. Shots intended to injure are hereby prohibited with the exception of weapons designed to injure with limited or no chance of death or great bodily injury. All right. Warning shots are a very old part of maritime tradition and law. And that is because when you fire a warning shot at sea, it's going to go into the water ahead of the vessel that you are signaling. And the greatest danger is to shamu. Well, okay. That's unfortunate. I can live with that. Versus sinking a ship, which will endanger shamu, by the way. A warning shot at sea is perfectly understood. And they are very much perfectly understood. They're not always heated, but they are perfectly understood. There is also an established precedent in the military of the warning shot for an overwatch. Okay, an overwatch is a fixed position that a machine gun is covering an approach route. A single shot to warn people at the approach route, yeah, you need to be not there. And the next shot will not be a warning. This actually would forbid the military warning shot rule. I leave it to other minds to determine where that line will stand. But for everybody else, no, they're hereby prohibited except as provided. Okay, that's it. You don't know where that shot is going to go. Even if you do know where that shot's going to go, you don't necessarily know what the effect will be. I look back to the case of Nick Melly at Clackamas Town Center. One of the reasons why people are saying he wasn't really there and that didn't really happen like he says It's because he didn't fire a shot. Well, okay. I'm all right with that. Because the real world effect of a warning shot in a situation like that is very, very well documented. And the Los Angeles shooting from earlier this year, in which that 17-year-old girl was killed. And that wasn't even a warning shot. That was an attempt for a kill shot that missed. And that 17-year-old girl is now dead. You can say whatever you want about the cops right now. I don't have time to argue with you. All right. At the end of the day, if Nick had pulled the trigger, even for a real kill shot, and the situation had not gone right, people would be looking at him like they do Los Angeles police right now. Only worse, because at least with the police, it was a clearly understood threat. They were called to this place, blah, blah, blah. We'd be saying this is an unfortunate result. But Nick, they would have said he was a cowboy. He was acting recklessly, blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up. But in the meantime, he'd be held accountable. All right. Duty to retreat. Any person in a place they have a right to be in and not otherwise engaged in criminal activities shall have no obligation to retreat from same when they reasonably perceive a threat to life or limb to themselves or another party and may come to the aid of another they believe to be in danger. That's it. I'm done. I don't even need to explain the rest of this, but I'm going to anyway because that's the way I roll. I don't care if you're in your house. I don't care if you're in a park. I don't care if you're at your buddy Jack's place drinking beer. All right. You had a right to be there. You were engaged in a lawful activity. You were at Jack's place drinking beer. So, is drinking beer suddenly a crime? You are under no obligation to so much as hide behind the table if you so choose, although I would recommend it personally. And this guy broke down. Let's go back to that Law and Order scenario where the guy's going through the park shooting women randomly. Somebody else sees this guy shooting women, shooting people at picnics in Central Park, and fucking blows his shit up. Okay. They reasonably perceived a threat to life or limb to themselves or another party. And as far as he can tell, somebody having a picnic in Central Park is not a crime. That's it. You have zero duty to retreat. You'll notice it says duty. It says nothing about right. You still have a right to retreat. You have a right to hide behind the table. You have a right to run for your truck and hop in and take off. You have a right to do anything else you decide you need to do. That girl in Los Angeles hid in the changing room because she thought she'd be safe in there. Okay. She wouldn't be in trouble here. All right. People in mass shootings run for it all the time. There's a guy from Pulse nightclub who locked the door to one of the storage rooms, I think he said. He beats himself to death in the one interview he's given. No. He was doing what he perceived he needed to do to save his own life for the moment. That's fine. He did nothing wrong. I know there's some people that do not agree. They are wrong. Chat back up. Go back over the chat. Oh, man purse. Okay. You. Okay, Foss. Fanny packs. Moobs. Yeah, they are. I'm not going to sit here and fight with you about fanny packs or whatever you want to call them. I have no idea where that age 19 part thing. Okay, Bo, I know you're upset about that. I'm furious. I cannot say on YouTube what I'm really thinking right now, and I have said it on BitChute. And a permanent solution to a temporary problem was what I made a specific recommendation on method of. Draw your own conclusions from that. We love you, Susan. We're at 9:21. Okay, folks, it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. The rhetoric is going to get worse too. There is a so-called journalist who is claiming that there was 300 mass shootings this year. That is bullshit. That's a flat-out fucking lie. And they're going to ramp that up. Bear in mind, we're at July 7. 6 times 30 is 180-ish days out of 365. And he's trying to tell us that there was 300 mass shootings in 180 days of a 365-day year. There hasn't been 300 mass shootings in the last 5 years combined. That's the truth. You're going to see a whole lot more of that kind of absolute lie over the next 6 months. And you just have to ride this bullshit out. I'm sorry, guys. That's the way it is. Okay, I will try to make it squatching. No guarantees, because I'm going to wrap up with a couple things. First of all, a friend of mine, well, let's ease off on the F words. An acquaintance of mine. Living History comes alive. Squatch, could you drop the link for him in the chat? And a link for the 9 acres if you want. It's up to you. Drew was a monetized channel, and somebody abused the report button to get his channel shut down by claiming that he stole material. Yes, he didn't steal the material, right? It was just somebody that wanted to shut him down for reasons that had nothing to do with his material and everything to do with shutting him down because of what he believed or what he does believe, right? I'd like to see him get back to at least his community tabs coming back. He's at 24 short. So if you can take a few seconds after this and go over there and subscribe to the channel so he can get at least get his community tabs back, because it's fucking bullshit that the channel was shut down to begin with. It's even more bullshit that Susan changed the rules so you can't have your community tab under 500. Stupid. We love you, Susan, you fucking cunt. Thank you, Bob. But anyway, I'd like to see him get back to full monetization again. Let's at least get him back to his community tabs. I remember I was pissed when I lost my community tabs because the rules changed, and this is not my bread and butter. I don't make any money off of this, guys. I lose money on this, and that's okay. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, I was getting ready to wrap it up. If anybody's got any last minute questions, before I do, related to Drew's channel, there is not going to be a live stream this afternoon because this is SCA week. SCA is Society for Creative Anachronisms. I really want to encourage everybody to join SCA. They have a lot of skills that you could absolutely use. All right. I'm supposed to give a training on knot tying at my local SCA. They're trying to get together 1,000 feet or 100 feet or something like that of cotton line and have it ready for the training. Right. That's been the delay on me giving my training. There's a couple of knots I know that I don't hand out to everybody, even within that group. The one that comes to mind is handcuff knot because it's exactly what it's described as. It's also an old marriage knot, traditional marriage knot. It's complicated, right? Don't bother looking it up on the internet. You're going to get a set of directions that are wrong. I know, because that's what I went looking for. If who was meant for me, Squatch? Drew. Or, well. Oh. Yeah, I heard somebody got a I have no idea who got the strike, Boa. Speed bump comic. Okay. Let me see if I can just get it myself. I should have remembered that I wanted to do that. It's my own damn fault. There we go. No, that's Squatch. And of course not. Oh, for fuck's sake. Susan, you're a fucking retard. You know that? And at least could you put these in alphabetical order, you dumb bitch? B-I-N. There we go. There, finally. Stupid whore. There we go. It's up now. I'll pin that later when I got a minute. Ozark Yeoman got nuked again? And he has a new channel already. I think Ozark maybe has backup channels. how did he get nuked this time? No. I'll ask you this evening. If I make it to your stream, I'll ask you. All right. SCA, Society for Creative Anachronisms, SCA. .org. Of course I am. I'm not going to be able to end the stream today because I've had some connection issues all day long. All right, there it is, guys. I don't know if it works as a link, but it is up. They have a lot of skills that are very helpful. You should check them out. If nothing else, you can learn how to brew alcohol, brew beer at home. In the United States, it is legal to brew up to 1,000 gallons of alcohol for personal use at home. Plus, I think it's 100 gallons per adult in your home per year. I'm just saying that's a number. You should think about it. That's not what he told me, Squatch, but okay. Or maybe I misunderstood. I'll eat that shit. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. We've had a test run of 9017, and it worked really, really well. It did. The next step will be larger scale. 9017. Wait, what the hell? Oh, okay, my bad. I'm sorry, guys. I understand, Boa. Boa, when I'm having connection issues, just hitting the end broadcast button doesn't work. Squatch points out, don't sell your alcohol. You can give it away. You can't sell it. Don't ask me to explain that. I can't. Okay. So if you can find a local SCA chapter, and you should be able to find something, go to their website. Also North-South Shooters or some equivalent Civil War reenactors group. Those are two awesome things to follow up on. I'm just saying. Get home bag together. You're going to need it here. I'm thinking within the next 6 months. 7 tops. And other than that, guys, keep calm and mandatory carry on. Let's see if it works.